Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode, a video recorded episode of Cigar Story Idiots. I am Rob, and you, sir, are
Arlo.
We're going to give this a test drive. We're going to see how this works. There's not really any good angles that I can put on this camera to make myself look good, other than if I just get completely out of the shot.
And then you don't want to see this bearded mug ever.
Handsome devil.
No.
So
there's only one person that thinks of that. Well, two, my wife and my mama.
So we're going to give it a couple of shots, trying to do like some different angles, different things, try to do some videos. So we can start videoing this podcast like we had planned on many days ago. So
4 months ago.
Shit. Almost 3 years ago. Yeah. Almost 3 years ago. So what's new with you, man?
Same old thing, man. Just hanging on by a frayed thread.
I've come to determine that there's something that I hate and despise in the world more than anything in the world right now.
Entitled people?
They're probably in the same category. I'm talking about internet trolls.
Oh, God almighty. People that just comment.
Oh,
and that's the thing.
Ooh.
I was listening to a podcast today, and it's a female that's doing a podcast, and she said she was talking about how she doesn't read the comments anymore, anything she posts. And she said that she goes, give a person a keyboard and you talk about big dick energy.
Yeah.
Whether they got one or not.
Right.
And it was evident last night. I made a post about the tragedy in Nashville, and what I was trying to say, and what most everyone got the point, and like we talked off air, there's a couple of people that didn't read it and then make a comment. Don't let the media allow you to lose focus of the fact that this was a mental health episode. This was a 28-year-old woman that thought it would be a good idea to walk into a school.
We've been saying this all along. We've been saying it all along. Even the first time I said it, I said we're going to get so much backlash. We're going to take a hit because I said it, out of the beginning. We're dealing with mental health. It's a mental health issue, 100%.
It is, and people just couldn't fathom it was not even my post. It's the lady, and all of you have probably seen her. She's on Instagram. She's on TikTok. She does the 5 underreported news stories that you need to know. And so
it's a good follow.
It is. She's great. Chrissy Clark is her name. She posted yesterday, very thought-provoking, and had the statistics to back it up. And so I just shared her post, and I thought that she hit the nail on the head. And she said, don't let them use this data. And sure enough, as soon as I saw hers, I saw a couple of people that I used to work with. They're younger, and they were regurgitating what CNN was saying. I was like, man, you're losing sight of this. And the argument that started last night, and I didn't post it, and we talked about it, and you send all the hate you want to. You can go to mysteriousbrews.com, and you can email us and whatever you want to do. But my argument is, if guns are the problem, or as a lot of people think, explain to me civilly, why did we not have school shootings in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s when we were in high school? And I would say 90% of every high school had a shooting team. Right. I remember bringing multiple shotguns to school, and we would go to the Wildlife Club, and we would shoot 5-stand, we would shoot sporting clays, and no one ever thought about it. And before that, my dad's generation, they kept them hung in the back.
The back of the truck. Yeah.
So if guns were really the problem, this would have been going on since guns were invented. This is a new problem because we keep dumping prescriptions and these god-awful chemicals in younger and younger and younger bodies. And then there's the whole love bomb thing that we talked about. But my concern is we can't see the forest because we're staring at a tree.
Yeah.
And until we address the mental health problem, young to old, whatever gender you say you are, until you address that mental health problem, it's not going to go any better. It's not going to go any better. It's not going to get any better. Mm-hmm. And I was not here, but you interviewed the homeopathic lady. It's been since November, I've been battling demons, I guess you could say. And it hit me one day, man, since I was 18, I'll be 48 at the end of April. Since I was 18, I was on some kind of anxiety medicine. And about a year ago, the one that I'd been on for probably 15 years stopped working. And so we just started going down the line, see if this works, see if this works. And it dawned on me after Thanksgiving this year, I was like, what has it done to my body?
Long-term effect.
Right.
Yeah.
My liver enzymes are high. Well, I don't drink like a fish, except, once every month. But, I mean, what is that doing to me inside? And you talk about a lot of soul searching, a lot of trial and error with different herbs and stuff like that. And there's something to it, man. And we talked a previous podcast about Sean Ryan's podcast with the transgender SEAL, Chris Beck. And, man, for that podcast is 6 hours long, and it's videoed. And so it took me like 7 or 8 days to watch it. But the first 3.5 hours of it is him talking about his military career, but the last half of it, he makes so many valid points about, and we did the episode on the Rockefellers. He said, don't trust medicine after 1900. He said, because it's been influenced.
Yeah, it's
heavily.
It's a money grab.
Right. And if you don't think so, look at how much money the pharmaceutical companies made starting when COVID hit until now.
Yeah, what their net worth was and now where it is. Yeah.
And so he has found, and I even reached out to him, it's Valor #4 us on Instagram. He does not respond to DMs. He will respond to comments under his post. And so I made a comment about, where are you finding these old medical books, these old doctors and stuff like that? He hasn't answered, but he did answer a couple of things about some herbs that I'm taking and some things like that have really helped him. And he's big into microdosing psilocybin.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, unfortunately, the U.S. is so heavily monetized with pharmaceutical companies, you can't go to the easiest explanation or example would be like the Cherokee Indians in Cherokee, North Carolina.
Sure.
You can go up there, and if you can tell them, hey, my grandmother was a half.
If you got some validity.
Right. They'll be like, okay, come on. And my mom reminded me of, they had a friend, and I think he's 3/4 Cherokee. And so he had messed his back up. He had a long military career, and he just got to where he couldn't get out of bed. And so he finally contacted the tribal elders up there, and they invited him up there. And so for 8 days, he had no contact with the world. And they put him in the medicine man's tent. And then they literally tied him to a tree and left him overnight. And he said, man,
what?
He said, there's things that I confronted that I didn't know I was there. And when he got home, his wife said, that's the man I married. That was not the man that left. And he got back into that rotation of, modern day medicine, and he's all shriveled up again. And there's some validity to it. And the reason I brought that up is Chris makes the comment that, unfortunately, if you're wanting to do microdosing and things like that, there is a SEAL that has opened up a certified medical clinic. He's board certified in every country except, of course, the U.S., because the U.S. doesn't
allow it. Yeah.
But you can go down there and you can microdose psilocybin. He'll put you on cannabis oil, and then if you're willing to take the leap, you can do the DMT experience.
Okay.
And he offers like little fundraiser. If you are a military veteran and you're suffering from PTSD, he will find a way to get you down there. And it may be you pay for half that airplane ticket, but once you get there, he's going to make sure you're taken care of. And I can't think of the guy's name, but that's the thing, man. We're on that knife edge where that tide, we're either going to drop off in the bottom of the Grand Canyon, or we're going to turn around and there's going to be great things. And then that gets into the whole TikTok thing with Congress this last week. And I'll say this, man, that guy had some stones on him.
Yeah, he did.
Because he was getting
bombarded. Yeah, he took it.
And then he told him, he's like, look, the U.S. social media companies do not have the best track record.
No.
And people sitting behind him were like,
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too we talk about TikTok was I think another reason. Of course, we know the revenue thing is a big part of it. They're getting all the revenue. The Meta's not getting receiving, which this podcast probably won't be available on any Facebook or Instagram coming up. But not only is the revenue, but people like me and you and people that are listening to this podcast are watching it now. We're seeing some things that are going on immediate, like real time stuff that's going down that we would never see on the news. And I think the government doesn't like it because they don't have time to do damage control on it, to spin it. And it is what it is. Like I watched the whole thing the other day. The Ukrainian army, they don't wave at each other, people. They throw up one of these to each other. And we've been saying that all along, for at least a year now.
Yeah, there's a whole company. They have the emblems.
County Patch has they have the Nazi emblems on it, or something very vaguely familiar to it.
Yes,
so, but it's the same
ideology,
which is terrifying, and we're funneling billions.
And that's
with
the
a
thing.
B.
I saw a thing last night after the episode with the mass shooting, and the guy had done his homework, and he said, if we stopped today, and he had his figures right. He named how many billions we've sent over there. He said and then he gave how many schools are in the U.S. Divide the billions by the schools. And it was something crazy, man. It was something astronomical, like $750,000 per school.
Yeah.
And there's a shit ton of schools just in our county.
Yeah.
So just think about that. Per school, if you were getting $750,000 that they could use for security.
Yeah.
There was a thing when I left Carroll County teaching. They were going to, I don't know the company's name, but basically you got your ID badge and you scan in if you're an employee of the school. But your badge has basically like a panic button on it. And if you hit it and hold it for 3 seconds, that's what most schools, whatever their code name is, that's a lockdown protocol. And so they know who initiated it. So they lock it down the school, and then they make their way to you.
And they lock that specific area down.
You're not getting in. And if it goes down, and that's a lot of things in Nashville, and I know you had tried to get James in, and he could have spoken better about this. But
we'll have him in here kind of dig deeper on what the police did right this time. So,
and James can speak better to this, but even when I was in brick and mortar, which was 5 years ago, you get a lockdown protocol that the students are told, you just go to the nearest classroom. It doesn't matter whether you're in that class or not. Get out of the hallway. It's not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first time you take it as a joke, you're going to be the one that can't get in the door. And then all of a sudden you're going to see something you're not supposed to see, or hear something you're not supposed to see, and then it's going to dawn on you, I shouldn't have been screwing around.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, go back to TikTok. This circles back, man. They released the body cam footage on TikTok. Them boys were not playing.
No, they were going in there to end that threat at all costs. And what I was talking to Brittany about, which I appreciated so much too, and you can't say enough for the people that took charge on this thing, but this guy was running up, grabbing guys by the back of their shoulder, the back of their bulletproof vest, or grabbing them by the back of their neck and directing them. You go here, go now. You know, take the stairs. Like, they didn't hesitate. They went in there.
And he comes in, and James can tell you, I really wish we could have James here to watch the video, and we can remind each other to let him watch the video of the things that guy did with that body cam. The little things, and we talked about the Netflix, or I'm sorry, the Amazon series with Chris Pratt from the Navy SEAL where he's screwed. They hired the right person for the little things. That guy's training kicks in. He's peeking. There's the threat. You know, pop. He ends the threat. His partner comes around and dumps 4 more rounds to make sure the threat's down.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. The training took over. And like you said, and I'd seen the body cam footage, and I didn't really want to watch all of it. I just didn't.
Something's wrong with me.
But I did. I eventually did.
Because I wanted to watch it all.
But they said that she was firing at cops in the parking lot, dude.
Yeah.
And these 2 hard chargers were like, all right, we're going in.
Yeah, it's going to be one or the other.
Within 14 minutes, the threat was ended.
Yeah.
From the time the first 911 call.
They were in the building in 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, they were engaging,
they were
hostile
clearing,
area. Yeah. They wasn't out there an hour
It was
waiting
not.
for direction.
What's the one out in New Mexico or Arizona?
Oh yeah, the Uvalde, yeah.
It was not one of those situations.
This is going to bring a whole new thing too. Like, I'm gonna kind of stick to what we initially started doing too. Is we're not going to give the shooter a name here. We're not going to glorify it. But what I will say is, when you start taking a look, just kind of circling back in the very beginning of this thing with mental health, you it's got all the signs. All the signs are there. Like mental health signs are there. Okay.
And
when we say that, and I'm saying that,
like everything we talk about, we won't know the full story for quite a time. But what we know currently is the signs were there.
Right. And so we had another thing. I think that they were a former student of this school, and they were kicked out.
Yeah, but 28, and that's an elementary school, so you're
talking
10 years, so 18 years.
18 years, yeah.
I would dare say
you can't harbor
three-quarters of the teachers.
We're not even there anymore. Gone. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair call.
I would say lowest percentage I would be willing to be half the teachers are gone.
I was pretty, and by the way, it wasn't an AR that the shooter used either. It was a 9mm extended
magazine.
Yeah, magazine. So it wasn't even an AR, which they're blowing that all over the news right now. You got the other thing too. Now you're starting to see the aggression coming from the trans community. So I'm going to coin this here. I don't think anybody's done it yet. I call them Trans Tifa because and I'm not trying to make a joke about it, but this is kind of what it's turning into. If you take a look at the way Antifa has operated during the Biden administration, now you gave this trans community some false power. Now they're taking it to another level.
And the thing is, what's funny about you saying that is, thank God for TikTok and social media and the news situation, people are going out and they're interviewing, I don't want to say you're old school because that's not true, but you're non-fad drag queens. Fad, F-A-D.
Right, yes.
They've been a drag queen before it was cool to be trans.
Yeah.
Okay, I would equate it to if RuPaul was asked. He has not been. I'm not putting words in RuPaul's mouth. But they interviewed several drag queens. They had some kind of gala for a club, and they were recognizing some of these very famous drag queens, wherever this was at. And so it was almost like a red carpet situation, and they were asking them, how do you feel about the trans thing? Hands down, they are pissed.
Yeah.
They were like, everything we worked for, everything that we tried to accomplish, and it echoes the feminist thing.
Sure.
Billie Jean King, she would die if she saw what's going on.
Yeah. Well, and you take a look at that too. There's somebody had made a comment, and I kind of I can kind of get behind it. They had said that, how dare these people come out and identify as a woman and call themselves a trans? They're identifying as women when they haven't went through the surgery. They haven't went through those painful surgeries or painful
regimens.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
No, that's a commitment that most people are not.
It takes, and forgive my ignorance on it, but it ain't something you just decide you're going to do and that's what you are.
No,
it takes a very long time to complete that whole process. Coloring your hair with Kool-Aid and
putting on some fake boobs or stuffing a bra.
That's not it. That's not it. You just acting out trying to get attention.
Yeah, the Caitlyn Jenner, when he first came out and was going to transition, that's even before the transgender world even kicked off. But we still, thanks to social media, people did some digging, and they interviewed his ex-wife, and they asked her, "Are you surprised?" And she's like, "No, I'm not surprised. I mean, this was always there. He's just at a point now where he feels like this is what I want to do." Yeah,
and you know what's cool about him that I think that he had come out and said, they asked him, "Do your kids call you mom now?" He said, "No, I'm their dad. They call me dad." He's like, "I wouldn't take that away from their mother. She raised them. She's their mother. I'm their father. I just choose to live a different way. I can't. He's not bothering me. He's not bothering anybody else. He's living his own life. He's not shaking his nub in front of a bunch of little kids at a daycare. That's the problem for me. That's the problem for me."
And the thing is, and I will say this, and I will stand on, this is the hill I'm going to die on.
I'll be right there with you, I'm sure.
If you're going to lower the age of consent for these transgender things to 12, 14, whatever, you better lower the drinking age.
Yeah. Guess what? They outlawed it in
Yeah,
Nashville. Nashville.
Finally.
And look what happened.
And the thing is,
I mean,
Vanderbilt University, those doctors were making it was something crazy, man, like $700,000 per surgery. And those doctors are stuck between the university and the hospital. Well, the university and the hospital, that doesn't make sense.
no, it
You're
kinda
stuck
does.
between the hospital administration and you're caught in the crossfire. If you refuse, then they're going to find a way to get rid of you.
Right.
But you took the Hippocratic Oath, is my thing. Do no harm.
Right.
And you know, what is it? They say the human brain doesn't fully develop till 23, 26, something like that.
Mine probably took like I was 37,
last
38.
Last week, mine fully developed.
Yeah, a couple hours ago for me.
But you know damn well, when we were 18, we had no business with a credit card.
No.
And I guarantee you, I had no business making medical decisions when I was 12.
No. Not at all.
And
and neither do they.
I just go back to having coached both young men and young women in high school sports. There are several wonderful athletes that I coached who were very athletic women who were a little tomboyish. If they had grown up now, what would have happened? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it breaks my heart with some of these kids don't understand, and there's that one thing, you know, the couple that had, how old is that, 6, 8-year-old? Or
10-year-old.
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 Transitioning from a girl to a boy.
Yes.
A buddy of mine's got he had an 8-year-old when this happened. We went to a cookout, and the mutual friend's house that we were at, his daughter, they were about the same size, but she was a couple years younger. She had a Frozen dress. And so his son put the Frozen dress on as a joke.
Yeah.
But there's people out there like, oh, he wants to be a girl now. No, he's just trying to get laughs. He's 8.
Let me tell you what I did when I worked at Hibbett's. They had a chunky girls Georgia Tech cheerleading.
You put it on?
I put it on because it was funny. And then I couldn't get it off.
You had to buy it.
We had to cut it off of me. It was cut off of me. But not for 1 second did I put that on there and go, this was nice. I think I'm going to change my whole fucking wardrobe now. No, it's not what happened at all.
And that's the thing that Chris Beck talks about.
I clearly did it as a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Beck talks about how he had this skewed thing, and he says it goes back to his mental health when he was a kid. He was the whipping boy, and he always saw his oldest sister sitting in a room playing with dolls, dressing to the nines, makeup. I want to be like her. And so the first time he did it, he got all this love and attention. And that's the whole love bomb thing. And he did it late in life. And he was like, man, I never felt that. And it felt great. And so I wanted to stay there. Was it right? No. Am I suffering the consequences now? Yes. And so that's the thing. And they interview his fiance, and she has some kind of medical condition where when she was 17 or 18, right before she graduated high school, all of the hair on her body fell out from stress.
Wow.
So she had to get wigs, and she joined the Air Force, and so therefore she didn't have to worry about makeup or anything like that. She was just another face in a uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said what she was originally drawn to, she still calls him Kristen, was she said, I saw this, for sake of an argument, woman, and their makeup was to the 10. And she was like, can we talk makeup? She goes, nobody's ever shown me how to put on makeup. And so she said, and we bonded over stupid things like makeup. How do you get your eyelashes to stay like that? Does it really hurt? She goes, I've never done the girly things. She says, does that mean I want to be a boy? No. And she has a degree in biology. She took whatever university, and this is where I think the garbage that's being dumped in mainstream media makes the masses think that this is normal, and it's not. And that's why we keep saying, I hope they don't ban TikTok, because the overreach won't stop there, people.
No, yeah. You tell them take one thing away, They'll take it all away.
And don't tell me you're a libertarian or a conservative and you want the damn government to take over a damn social platform. You're not. You're neither.
You're uninformed.
You're a socialist.
You're misinformed.
But she took 2 classes on drag. They were college credit classes, and they brought in old school drag queens, and they told them, "We're like, look, no topic off the table. Everything's go." And so it was a round table discussion, and there was no judgment, and questions were asked. And she said, "I'll never forget both. One was in his early 20s, and one was like in his early 50s." So she said we had 2 spectrums, new and old. She said, but neither one of them. They had corporate, high-paying jobs. She said neither one of them at any time said, "Oh, I'm going to do this full-time and dress this way in my corporate job." I'm like, no. This is something I enjoy. I make a little extra money at it. And I hate to say this. I mean, what's the difference in doing drag shows before the transgender boom and OnlyFans now?
Right.
What about Patrick's? I talked about this with my wife. That movie.
Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah.
Brittany, we watched something with John Leguizamo in it the other day, and she goes, "You know what his favorite movie was?" I was like, "Spawn." She's like, "Nope." And then I forgot what other movie I was talking about. She's like, "Nope." I was like, "The damn Tu Wong Fu movie," and she's like, "Yeah, that's the one."
But towards the end of that, I remember paying damn good money to watch it in the theaters. But towards the end of it, they tied the reason that the movie was made on back to it. At the end of well, think about RuPaul. Think about Medea.
Yeah.
Could he have started doing Medea now without having both sides attack him?
Right. No, I don't think so.
Attacked from the trans community, but also being attacked from the other.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he could.
And he's done so much good.
Yeah, I think they'd try to cancel him.
I played the clip today. He's got that 5-minute video where it's an actual Medea play, and he talks about people come in your life and they're like parts of a tree. Some of them are leaves, some of them are branches, but some of them are roots.
Yeah.
And I play that. I've got a lot of kids that are rural kids in the cyber education era. That screen's their outlet to the world. They have no. There's some small towns near us that we have kids in, and I can tell you off air, but when I found out, I was like, this is it.
That's their only communication to the outside world.
This student may never have seen this. And so I played that clip, and she's battling what all teenagers do. You're trying to find yourself at 16, 17 years old. You don't know what you want to do. Hell, I didn't know what I was going to do till I was like third year at college. Yeah. And then it still was like, well, I'm
still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So I'm not bad at it, so I guess I'll give this a try. But and then I played from the movie God's Not Dead, where they asked that priest, why would God allow us to suffer? And so he gives that whole thing about ask for strength, and God gave me more burdens than I thought I could carry. And he goes through that whole thing, and it's like 45 seconds. And at the end of it, he says, whether you're religious or not, whatever higher power you believe in, whoever you believe is at the center of that is not going to give their weakest warriors their hardest battles. So while the day looks dark, at the end of the day, you got a roof over your head. You have people that love you and care for you. You may not see it, but you do. And you do have a purpose in life. And then, like I told you off air, I had a shit-y day, capital shit, capital Y. Just a gut punch out of nowhere, man. And I gave myself 5 minutes pity party and sucked it up, went outside and did some manual labor and got that out of my system. But as soon as I come back in on social media, man, there's Jocko Willink. And he said, at the end of the day, it starts off, at the end of the day, are you still alive? If you are, the battle's not over. And I'm like, dude, I was crying. And for I think it's 45-second clip. He's right. I got a woman at home that loves me. I got a son that I love and he loves me. I got a roof over my head and I can pay my bills. At the end of the day, I still have a job.
You got a 3-legged dog.
I got a 3-legged dog that looks like he'll eat that ass.
Yeah.
But he won't. But I mean, that's the thing, man. Sometimes God punches you right in the face to make you realize the important things.
Yeah.
And I think that's, as a society, we've lost sight of that.
We have, and it's. I heard something really interesting, and it's why you got the Christian sector, and you've got this LGBT trans community. Sorry, I don't know all the numbers and digits.
That was the guy, the drag queen they interviewed. He said the LGBTQ plus. He goes, that pissed me off.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
I mean, I have no idea. And it's not me being insensitive. It's
you had it covered with LGBTQ.
Q, yeah, and then all that other shit. I don't know what's going on. So. But Christians will never accept it for the fact that what it is, because what they were trying to say was there's only one God. There's no other. There's nothing else. There's God, and it's only God. That's who we, Christians. I don't say we. I say people that are Christians. And you have the LGBT trans community. It's more or less the trans community is what we're talking about. They are saying, I am this, when no, you're not. You can only be a man. You can only be a woman. You can't be a woman with a uterus that is a man, that stands up in peace. Yeah, I mean, you just can't do it. That's why
the whole thing, I saw another thing right before we got here, the whole birthing person that these dumbasses in Congress and these talking heads are saying. Oh, you mean a female?
Yeah. I watched a whole argument today with someone in the Board of Education meeting. I can't remember what state it was in. Why they're going to start putting feminine products in the boys' bathrooms at the high schools.
Well, it's the whole Cartman cartoon.
It is. It's South Park coming to life. But it's a real straight up conversation, like a rebuttal back and forth. But that's why they're saying that the Christians and the trans communities will never see eye to eye. There'll never be peace between those because, like I said, the Christians are like, there's one God, there's only one God. There's no other, nothing. And the trans community's like,
today I'm this,
tomorrow I'm that. And the Christians are like, no, you are this. There's no other way. It's the only way. You are this. You were born this way. You will die this way. No matter what you cut off or add to yourself, this is exactly how you will be. And that's why I'm seeing these things
now. A new
now.
holy war.
It is. The thing that I'm seeing now with these transgender women on TikTok are men. They're men dressed as women, and there's women dressed as men, and then there's people dressed like animals. I don't know. I'm so fucking confused right now. But they're like, what are they? They're calling out. It's like a jihad against the Christians. They're like, you know how many people has been murdered in the name of Christianity? Well, you know what? It's a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot.
Probably approaching 1 billion.
But you can't. But we have gave a certain sector of people. Nobody wants to go be a mechanic anymore. That's too hard of a work. Nobody wants to go be a school teacher anymore. That's too much work. Nobody wants to go to school and do construction work, learn how to do construction work. It's too hard. Well, if I'm a guy and I identify as a girl and I shave my head and I grow a red mustache and wear red lipstick and steal people's luggage in the fucking airport, I can get a job in the Biden administration and I can make 6 figures acting like a clown in the world. And it's okay. I've got a platform. It's cool. I can do it.
Yeah.
You're...
The needle's fallen so far to diversity, you don't understand what you created. There's standards for every profession, and those standards cannot be lessened. The new Commandant of the Marine Corps said, you know why our ribbons are 1/8 of an inch on center above? They're like, no. Why? He said, because we make you focus on attention to detail. He said, we just made that shit up. He said, there's no reason behind it. He said, the reason is because I fucking said so.
Yeah.
And there's things in life you just have to fucking do.
Right.
And I was like, hell yeah.
But it's exactly what you just said. I couldn't put it a better way. It's the brand new holy war that's coming.
It really is. And Theo Vaughn's podcast, I cannot remember it. He had Mike Rowe on there, and Theo's so funny. Like, he is a down ADHD squirrel in a hamster wheel, man.
Yes, he is.
He's all over the place. But he had Mike Rowe on there, and Mike was talking about how he's still doing dirty jobs and he's still giving out scholarships. And he brought up he said, my granddad, and we all had that person. You all know someone in your family like this. They were good at just about everything.
Yeah, my dad. That's one.
My granddad, Mike Rose said it was his granddad. He said, man, he had a 5th grade education. He said he could rebuild an engine, he could build a house, he could tear apart a washing machine, and he could rewire anything.
Right.
He said he made clocks, he made gears, could weld anything and everything. He said, I tried it one summer, and he told me, he said, son, there's things in life that some people are meant to be, and you're not meant to do this.
And my long-standing joke for my whole life is my dad can fix anything, and I can fix a sandwich. And that's the truth. It's factual.
And the thing is, we no longer find what you're good at and exploit what you're good at. We just try to cram. It's that whole thing back up to when we graduated. Everybody's got to go to college. Well, everybody went to college, and guess what? We got a shortage of blue-collar workers.
We bottlenecked into it.
Yeah. I mean, I've had this argument with my sister-in-law before. She's got a 23-year-old. He's working at Chick-fil-A. He's living at home. He's paying rent. What's the problem? He's not a slum. He's not hooked on drugs. He doesn't have 3 babies to 3 women.
Chick-fil-A is the best corporate job I ever had. Hands down.
And
the best corporate job I ever had.
He is the man to call, from what I can gather, when a truck comes in at anywhere within within 5 miles of his current store. They're like, man, we got a truck we didn't know was coming. Can we borrow him? Yeah. And so they'll call him. He's like, what do I got to do? And they were like, just unload the truck, stock, put it up. And he's like, and then I'm done. Yeah, okay. I'll be there in a little bit.
And we just look at it like now you're seeing a lot more. I guess since the shooting, we're starting to recognize. Maybe we didn't recognize it or look at it, or we just kind of like scoffed at it, like it was like whatever. You're just seeing a lot more hate speech coming towards the Christian-based group or anybody that don't champion the trans community.
And the thing is, and I always circle back to this, we can have a difference of opinion. We can have, a rabbi can have a philosophical discussion with a priest. A Shaolin monk, the Dalai Lama, and Billy Graham could all sit down and have a civil conversation. And at the end of the day, they respect each other for the differences of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to show me, while it may not be comfortable, you're going to show me another side of the argument. And I'm better equipped, and I'm going to be more compassionate. And that's what some of these fundamentalists on either side of this conversation, the trans and the Christian groups, don't understand. The trans don't need to be told they're going to hell.
No.
And the Christians don't need to be told that in the name of God you've murdered, or a billion people have lost their lives. There has to be a way that you can have a civil discussion. And at the end of the day, it's okay if you walk away and you still disagree. But you don't have to hate. And that's like you said, there's so much hate coming out from both sides.
Like even if you watch now, like when they try to have a conversation, whether it's in school, or it's in Congress, or if it's at a rally, I can be talking to you just like this and disagreeing with you, and they are screaming to the top of their lungs in people's faces, putting their hands on people. It is insane. I'm going to tell you, down here in the South, we let you pretty much do whatever you want to do, just don't bother us. But if you start getting in people's personal space
and God forbid you touch me,
and screaming it and putting your hands on people down here,
as Mike
or
Tyson
even in Texas,
as Mike Tyson said, some of these people out here have forgot what it feels like to be punched in the mouth.
It's all about, man. I don't know. We're just in a weird way right now. Everything's in such a weird way right now. It's just, I don't see an end to it anytime soon. I just see it developing. It's getting worse. It's manifesting into this big, giant, gloppy goop under the city, and we're gonna have to call Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and it's the precipice of. Are we on the precipice of another civil war?
Yeah,
and it's not going to be. I don't think you're going to draw a line across. There's
No.
going to be different states that are, if it kicks off, there'll be. I mean, look at the state.
Tennessee's in the middle of Georgia, Alabama, and Kentucky.
Yeah.
And Tennessee's pretty liberal ran operation.
Yeah, and my thing is that we got to find a way to communicate. We don't need that to happen.
Yeah. You notice how we're not hating on black people as much anymore?
Because the media told us not to.
Because the media's got us hating on, there's just a different, They shifted the attention somewhere else. People just pay attention, man.
And
just watch it.
And there's a lady on TikTok, she does the news under the desk, and she's got the hair all coiffed up. Well, she was at the TikTok hearings, and she sat right behind the guy from TikTok. And she's taking notes, and she's reporting daily on that. And she had a thing the other day. They're saying that they're TikTok eulogies because they don't know if they'll be around much longer.
Right.
But
and I honestly don't think they will be. I think they're gonna put it.
But did you notice? I don't know if you've noticed, but they released TikTok. The TikTok app in the U.S. has released the STEM. You can swipe all the way to the left, and it's nothing but science, technology, education, and mathematics.
That was smart.
Because we had discussed that.
Yes.
That's what you get as a child over there until you're 18 or 20 something.
And when he was talking to Congress, he's talking about all these different ways to monitor, like time limits and things like that. Hell, nobody knew anything about that stuff.
No.
They didn't want us to. Let's just be honest. They didn't want us to. But now that they're, on the possibility of them being on the way out,
What was the state just recently that banned all social media?
Utah, you have to have parental access. If you have a minor child, they have to be given parental access to use
all places.
Of all places. Utah.
Not Alabama, Mississippi.
Utah.
Utah.
I wonder if Warren Jeffs had anything to do with that from the jail cell.
Maybe.
That's hard.
Maybe he rubbed his head on the wall. Manifested it.
Yeah, he did.
No, it's just Jocko Willing had a thing. You were talking about people for yelling and screaming. He said, "Man, I'm not gonna fight you." He said, "I don't know what you got under your jacket. You might pull a knife.
Nowadays you don't."
He goes, I'm gonna take 2 steps back, and if I have to, I'll run." He said, "I will be there in case you try to do something to my family." He said, "But again, I'm gonna get them out of harm's way, and then I'm gonna get out of the way because I don't know. I have no idea."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "But put your hands on me." He said, "In my 5th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna tie you in knots."
Yeah. I can't agree more. So I couldn't disagree with that at all. So this is gonna do it for this episode. You guys, please, if you like coffee, go to cigarstoreidiot.com. Go to the Blackout Coffee link. They've got all kinds of different flavors of coffee there. I like the hard stuff. The Brewal Awakening is my favorite. They've got a couple of milder brews for some of you that don't like your heart beating like a hummingbird. They also have loose teas there, so there's all kinds of good things going on there at Blackout Coffee Company. And make sure you use the promo code. Promo code there is ROBW10, ROBW10. And that'll save you some money on shipping or even the product, I think. So one of the two things. So Arlo, it's been a good one, man. I appreciate you this trial run here on this video episode, and we'll keep chipping away with it and get it fine-tuned as possible. So
we'll see y'all at another angle next week.
Don't be getting in people's faces at hockey games either.
Like I said on a couple of episodes ago, give them 3 minutes, and then you can decide whether or not you can punch them.
All right, that's going to do it. Y'all take
Later.
care.